How's it going, everybody? I just want to do a quick video here. No tripod. It's going to be a little ghetto, but we're going to make it work. So if you want to use Linux, but you want to have some sort of like iPad Pro device, tablet device where you can write notes, have it all digitized, all that great shit. What's your options? So a couple options are these devices, either N-Trig or Wacom AES devices, which is pretty much every device now in existence. That's not like an artist device, like some of those studio, artist devices. They all have either, if they're Microsoft N-Trig sort of devices, typically, or they have like a Wacom AES pen. They're pretty much the same, and they're also pretty shit. Also, my pen just died, dude. This is what's frustrating about these fucking things, man. My pen died. I have to get a new, it's like a quadruple A battery. Expensive. Does not last long. My pen's already dead. So, you know what, man? I'm not even gonna replace it at this point. I'm just tired of this piece of shit. So the pen's dead. There's an eraser on the back. It does not work out of the box. This entire experience is fucking terrible out of the box. You have to install a custom kernel just to get audio working, touchscreen, and general stuff working. Even with this thing, man, touchscreen turns off, Wi-Fi turns off. You have to like reset the Wi-Fi half the time. Thermals, this thing gets hot as hell. You have to disable turbo boost automatically, otherwise this thing is going to be fucking sounding like a goddamn SpaceX moon mission, man. Like, this thing is fucking loud as fuck. It gets loud, it's noisy, it's hot. It's really terrible. Battery on this thing, luckily my battery was okay. It's about like 90%. This device is kind of old. I bought it used on eBay. These things are not replaceable. They're sealed up. They got glue. So if you get a bad battery with these things, you're generally fucked. I know the Surface Pro 4s have issues with batteries, so I would avoid those because those things, that's like screens, like pop the fuck out. I'd say Surface Pro 3 is generally a decent bet if you want to try N-Trig. However, I would not recommend it because N-Trig is fucking trash. And the support on these devices is also fucking trash, so I would not buy a Surface Pro if you want to use Linux. It's really bad. Also, there's a bug where you put your finger down and you start, basically palm rejection happens where it thinks your palm's a finger and you start writing and it thinks that you're multi-touch zooming, and then it also, it's even worse because then it basically every movement, when you try to write again, it keeps zooming the fucking screen in and out. You have to drag. That's why you have to have scroll bars enabled. I don't know if you can see it, but you have to like use your pen to like reset it by dragging the scroll bar to like get it out of that multi-touch glitch. So basically, this thing is absolutely atrocious to write on because it keeps fucking, the multi-touch goes absolutely insane on this thing, and it keeps zooming out, and you have to keep touching the scroll bar and resetting it and then zooming back in. To get the eraser work, I had to basically, the only way I could move is I had to multi-touch around. Like, I had to pinch and zoom everywhere. I couldn't just do this. And I got the okay, now my pen's working. Now only the eraser is working on the pen. I don't fucking know. I guess the battery controls the front part of the pen, and this is just passive or something. But anyway, you can erase if you, there's some configs posted on Reddit where you can get it working, but out of the box, like, this thing is just terrible. It doesn't, the configs are just a complete mess. Also, your writing is going to turn to complete shit. It looks like a fucking, it looks like your writing turns to like 8-bit writing. Like, everything is jaggedy, it misses stuff, there's like this distinct look when you look at this Surface Pro writing. It just looks bad. Like, you can see like writing that I actually write, like, it's a lot clearer, but this is just like jaggedy, and I can't even look at it. Like, it's really, like, it's hard for me to read this shit. Like, it's very hard to read this writing. And this is with me writing slow. When you write on these devices, you're gonna have to write slower, larger. Like, you cannot write, like, I have a 0.3 millimeter rotring with 2B lead. It works great. I also use a 0.5. I alternate between the two. This thing is like a 0.9, man. It's not even a 0.9. It's larger than that. Like, it acts like one of those fucking wooden pencils, man. It's absolutely terrible. Like, you cannot write. You're gonna have to write slower and a lot larger, and it's just terrible. If you write quick on this thing, like, it's gonna miss everything. It's absolutely awful. Good things about this thing is the form factor. You can push it down and write, and it's pretty great. But the general support on this device is really bad. So now we have the yoga Yoga 12 here. This is Wacom EMR. It's generally the better technology. However, Wacom seems to be like discontinuing it. They tend to be looking into their AES, their active thing, kind of like the Entrig. But generally, like, it's pretty good. There is some issues with calibration. You can definitely tell, like, it's kind of off. The cursor is kind of off from where you're writing. I have this dinky pen that came with it, with the Yoga 12. This is the last EMR device that Lenovo produced, so, and also it's a ThinkPad, so it has pretty decent, Linux support. Basically, out of the box, this thing works absolutely perfectly. No issues with multi-touch. There's no palm rejection issues, rarely. Everything works really well, generally. Like, this is a really good system. The issues with this pen is that the pen sensitivity is not the greatest. You cannot write really fine because it doesn't really register. You have to write sort of large, and it's really inconsistent. Like, it generally just goes off into really large pressures. So this pen is really not the greatest. However, it's calibrated really well. So I decided to buy a ZX2 pen, HP ZX2 pen. It's a Wacom EMR compatible pen, but it doesn't work with this device. I know it supports tilt. I don't know if this pen is like too advanced for this Wacom EMR setup, but it's let's see if I can show you. Basically, it's like off. It gets worse at the ends. Like, it's really bad. It's not on the cursor on the pen. If you tilt it, it gets even worse. So you can see here, like, it gets really bad if you tilt it. But if you bring it in, it gets a little better. But it's not set up. I can't calibrate this thing. I think it's just like part of how the technology is. But this one does have an eraser built in, which is really nice. And it has a button where you can like select stuff and move it around. But it's just, I can't get it to calibrate, which is really annoying. This is supposed to be like one of the best pens out there. That's Wacom EMR. So overall, you're gonna have to dink around with pens. They might not be calibrated. And there's not really much calibration that you can actually do with these pens. Like, they just kind of, with Wacom EMR, it either works or it doesn't work. Same with Entrig. Like, Entrig generally has better tracking, but EMR, like, it either works or it doesn't, pretty much is what I can tell. So overall, there's not really much going on with these devices. The big issue is the software. Honestly, I'm using Xournalpp PP. It's the best software on Linux, and it's just not efficient. It's not good enough. You can't do bookmarks. None of the files are embedded, so you add a picture and then you delete it later. Like, it's gonna lose track of it. Like, it's all just linking files in your file system that you add. It's not actually embedding it into the document. So, like, it's just not. It's really bad. Like, you can't find files. I don't know if I can show you here. So the way I was gonna try and get around this was gonna use an i3W, i3 window manager, and kind of have like sort of stuff like set up like per class. I would have like a queue of like 5 keys would be one class, the next 5 would be another class. I could kind of like cycle through. And let's see, can I also on the Surface Pro, I have it so that it's set up so I have the volume keys. I can toggle between windows. I was gonna have it so I could quickly switch, like, there's my notes, and I can go back to here, my lecture notes, and I can kind of just like toggle between while I'm on the fly, not have to worry about the keyboard. But then I could use the keyboard to like do stuff if I need to, and I was gonna also use this file manager called Polo, so I could have like each class and have stuff kind of pre-queued up to kind of open up. But basically, the only way to manage files in Xournalpp is you have to open up separate windows, and you cannot do dual. It's just a very bad workflow on this. Like, you're just stuck on this one file, and you can't navigate between pages very well. You're gonna have to scroll or use page up, page down. It's just really bad. And yeah, I'm really not a big fan of this setup here. it's nice. What's nice about this is that you can use Nextcloud on this, so you can sync it with your desktop, and you can load up Xournalpp on your desktop and kind of you can do like look at multiple files at once by using multiple computers and have it all synced up through Nextcloud. But the nice thing about OneNote is that OneNote does a live sync to it. So if you write on your OneNote device here, it'll update it on the cloud, and it'll update the strokes as you go. But if you edit a file here and it's open on another computer, you're gonna have to reopen it on any other device because it's not going to be synced over like that. You're going to have to reopen it every time you make a change to it. So that's kind of an issue. But overall, I would say look into some of these EMR devices. You might be able to get them to work. I would say that's your best bet because the pen technology is the best for Wacom EMR. Some of these Lenovo devices, they work out the box. I'd look into a Yoga 12 if you want to do this. I think it's the best bet. Try and find a pen that works with these. I would not recommend the ZX2 pen because it does not work unless you can calibrate it some way, but it's not working correctly. So yeah, I'd say the biggest issue right now is software. This Xournalpp PP is just not good enough for software. You can't easily scan in documents. It's just a big mess. So I would say if you're going to try to do an iPad thing, you're going to have to stick with either an iPad or a Surface Pro. I would probably do something with an iPad because it's just the pen technology is so much better with the iPad. Yeah, it's really not comparable. So I guess that's it. So there's not really any good alternatives right now for Linux and sort of a writing devices. Surface Pro, bad support. The technology is bad. The form factor is good. The pen technology is shit, and the drivers are shit. With this thing, support's good. The general device is good. It's not the only issue is it's not a tablet, and the pen issues. The pen is okay. The pen technology is decent, but the pen getting the right pen set up is an issue. And the biggest issue between the two is that the software is absolute shit. It's just like one, and it's only good at editing a document. It's like a single document. It's not good at organizing your files or anything. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait. I would say wait like 5 years on this shit. Come back in 5 years. Hopefully active pen technology is better. The N-Trig will improve. The Wacom AES will improve, and you don't have to deal with EMR. But you might have to, I don't know, man. Hopefully we get some better support for Linux devices, but right now it's not looking pretty. So that's it. Peace.